Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Dad is in Control podcast. My name is Brian Chauvet, and I am the founder of Dad is in Control. I am back. We took the summer off to focus on some projects, to hang out with the kids, just to be. And I'm super glad I did, but I'm super glad that I'm back and I will be doing this again on a regular basis. So today I wanted to talk about the summer. I want to talk about broken bones, broken drywall, and broken promises. Where to start? Well, let's start in the early summer. Was just after the start of June, and my oldest son was hanging out with his friends, and they were getting ready to go on a boat, and he jumped off a dock to go and get wet and do a little bit of swimming, and broke his foot. And this was completely accidental. There's no, hard feelings. The foot's fine now. It's been all healed up for a while, and we're good. But this lesson taught us a lot over the course of the summer, and we grossly underestimate our kids and their willpower. So about a week after, we went to the hospital and got his foot in a special cast, blah, blah, blah. We actually had a vacation planned to go to British Columbia and hang out in the mountains for a wedding. And we knew that there was going to be some hiking, and there was going to be some hills, and there was going to be some off-road stuff. And he was bummed out. He thought he was going to miss out on all of the fun. So when the time came, we boarded the plane, flew into Calgary, and we picked up a large RV that we rented, and we shot into BC, into the mountains, and Lake Louise and all these different places that we went to that was exceptionally beautiful. And all this time, my oldest son, he was bummed. He was kind of hurt in the pride area. He wanted to do so much, but he couldn't physically, so he thought. So we got to Lake Louise, and there's a little bit of a hike from where we parked to see the lake. So he was going, and there was a little bit of off-road, and he went off-road. And as a family, we did have to slow down. We did have to kind of wait a little bit. But my son really, really pushed through. I think this lesson of breaking his leg really taught him about pushing through the pain, pushing through the uncomfort, because he really put it out there. He really got past all of the uncomfort, and he didn't miss a beat. He was included in hikes. He was included in every single event. Yes, there were times where he got tired, but we did accommodate. We did rent a wheelchair when we could so that he can get a little rest, and we had fun. So the moral of the story is our own objections, our own limitations that we feel like we're going to be putting in shouldn't be impressed or pushed onto our kids, because when we doubt and when we have these limitations that we think are going to happen, that's when they start thinking that this is going to happen. So we were patient, and we learned how to deal with the broken leg, but ultimately he pushed through. He showed up in a huge way, and I'm super proud of him for putting it out there like that. He didn't play the victim card. He did have to slow us down a little bit when he got sore and when he got fatigued, because let's face it, walking on crutches in the mountains is not the easiest task, but he really showed up, and I'm really proud about it. Next up, broken drywall. So I had a real estate project on the go this summer, and I love to include my family on my projects. I love to include them and show them the way when I can. So there was a time at the start of the summer when I was doing demolition in early July. I was doing demolition, so I brought my 3 boys, and they were taking hammers to drywall and ripping drywall out and just putting it all out there. And we had a lot of fun with this. I had a lot of fun including them in the demolition. So we got the demolition cleared up, and I thought that it would be a great idea to include them on some more. My middle son really took a shining to pulling nails and cleaning up hardwood floors. So he did that. And then they learned how to paint, and then they learned how to measure properly. And they watched me design the kitchen, and they watched me and, the team progress through the project. And they got to learn and see how this all came through. They also got to watch me deal with problems and self-doubt. And let me tell you, that was not easy. Watching my kids watch me deal with these issues. There's sometimes you make a decision and then you doubt yourself because you're wondering how it's going to turn out. Because let's face it, most men that I know don't have the vision skills that the women do. So I brought my wife in to help me with color patterns and this and that. And she can see things that I can't. And I was doubting myself. I was doubting the decisions that I made. And I had to work through these problems and just trust and have faith that the decisions that I made were the right ones. So as I'm struggling with this, I'm talking to my kids and telling them exactly where I'm at and how I'm feeling so that they could see me working through these problems. And as these problems come up and as the objections come through and I start dealing with the smoke screens and all of the stories that I'm telling myself and watching the progress, and the kids come in the next day and the day after that and they're seeing, hey, now the kitchen's going together. Hey, now the trim's going up. Hey, now the bathroom's getting redone. Hey, now, they're power washing the side of the house. Hey, they're doing this. And suddenly the project's over and they look at the work that they've put into this and the work that I've put into this, and they're proud. They're proud of the results. They're proud of the efforts that they put in. They said, hey, I painted this wall. Hey, I helped nail this piece of trim on the wall. And they really got involved and they're really proud about their involvement in this project. And it made me super happy to be able to include them in this and show them, this process. But not only the process of the build, but the process of the emotional roller coaster that goes with it. Having them see me deal with problems constructively, creatively, and positively, right? Because this is the stuff that I preach. This is the stuff that I teach other men to do. And I'm having my children watch me do this in real time. It was amazing. But in that same respect, and the third thing that I said was broken promises. There were times when I had timelines in my head that were broken and promises that I broke to myself as far as I'm going to have this done on this date and my timelines were all shot to shit. And, in dealing with this shot to my ego and shot to my pride, because let's face it, it's very easy to get down and to become scared and to become, angry when we don't meet the timelines, when the budget's going askew, when things are going wrong. But what I wanted my kids to see was how you can create a positive from this, how you can deal with these issues as they come up and deal with what's going on inside of you. My kids watched me and learned through times when I was journaling and through times when I needed to take some space for myself, whether it was going for a bike ride or whether it was through self-care or whatever energetically it was that I required to make sure that, I dealt with the problems. I dealt with the issues inside myself. I took that time for me, and I knew that my kids seen this, and I knew my kids understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. So throughout the summer, I really tried to focus on self-care. I really tried to focus on me as much as I focused on my kids, and we hung out and we went in the pool and we had fun and they learned about renovations to a house. I wanted to take care of myself. I wanted to physically and emotionally take care of myself. I wanted to learn about me and push my limits and push my boundaries and push my comfort zones. And I really believe that I lived outside of my comfort zone a lot this summer. I learned a lot of valuable lessons about myself and about the people around me. And one of the hardest lessons that I learned throughout this summer, one of the most valuable lessons that I learned is ask for help. I've always struggled with this. It's never been easy for me, but I learned that I can ask for help. And the advice of my wife came in very handy over the summer. And there were times when I really relied on her and I really needed her, as well as others. My parents lent their expertise over the course of the summer for painting, among other things, and I'm super grateful for that. This summer was an amazing experience for me. I grew a lot personally. Emotionally, I grew a ton, and I'm super proud to say that I feel like I'm better now than I was yesterday and the day before. I'm turning the corner to becoming a better version of myself every single day. And that's what I'm striving for. That's what I think everyone should strive for, is to become better today than they were yesterday. So with all of that said, I think that's what I'm going to end up on. If this is a conversation that you liked and you want to learn more about, please join our free Facebook group. Head on over to dadisincontrol.com. There's a button there you can click and it'll bring you right on over to join the free Facebook group. Also, please, if you're listening to this and you haven't already done so, please go over to the podcast app, like and rate and review this podcast. It goes a long way to deliver our message to other men and get our message out there. And I would appreciate it if you did. And that's it, guys. That's all I have for now. So until next time, we'll see you on the inside of the group.